Time out with Tim O.
Open up your mind and let me in. Open up your mind and let me in. Open up your mind and let me in.
Hello, welcome to Time Out with Tim O. I'm your host, Tim Owens. As always, very grateful and excited to be here today. Now, today's video, I want to talk about tone policing. Some of you guys may have heard that term before. It's when someone says that they understand the message, but they don't like the way you said it. So if you raise your voice, they'll say, well, I don't like your tone. This goes both ways, right? So I feel that tone policing is a part of manipulation. Basically, if you get the person to focus on your tone, on their tone, let me say, then that means that they can ignore the message. Now, I found a video here that piggybacks on that and explains that, and I happen to agree with what's said in the video. But let me pull up something here so I can give a little bit more information, so bear with me today. All right, so gaslighting is a term that's been thrown around a lot online. I think some people really don't understand what it is. People hear what one person say a word, almost like narcissism. Those are popular buzzwords nowadays. And a lot of people who use those words, they are that very said thing. So is gaslighting the same as manipulation? So let's see. Gaslighting is a type of manipulation, but not all manipulation is considered gaslighting. Gaslighting is a particularly insidious and hurtful form of manipulation that involves a pattern of abusive behaviors with the intent not just to influence someone, but to control and exploit them. Manipulation, in a broader sense, describes the act of changing or influencing someone else's thoughts, emotions, and/or actions in a deceptive or cunning manner. The term manipulation can encompass a wide range of behaviors and tactics, some of which may not necessarily involve causing the target to doubt their own reality. While manipulation can certainly involve tactics that are emotionally harmful, gaslighting is specifically focused on causing psychological distress and confusion by distorting the victim's perception of reality and undermining their confidence in their own thoughts. Now, that was a boatload. When I think about my life, and there are times where I've encountered people who have used very said tactics. For example, let's say you're involved with someone romantically, or it could be just a friendship. And there's a situation where they'll say, hey, I don't like the way you did said thing. And the person's response is, well, no one else would have a problem with that. So that person goes and asks 5 people about what that individual said. All 5 people say, well, there was nothing wrong with that. I mean, I don't see a problem with it. They go back to the person who said it, and that person says, well, they're all wrong. It's how you told them. You twisted the story to make them agree with you. So what they want that person to do is to accept that, only listen to them. If they only listen to them, then that means those other 5 people's opinion doesn't mean anything. And that's the way they can control them. That is a form of manipulation. The best way that I've seen people manipulate someone or control them is by isolation. So if they can get you never to get an outside opinion, or if they can find people who are just as twisted as they are, and you'll soon find a lot of people out here who have a friend group that they're exactly alike. They're all the same. It's like a pit of snakes. They all work together. They all think the same way. If that person has a group like that, they're definitely going to be in cahoots with them to make you seem crazy. So I'm going to play this video here. And not all of it is kind of long, where a lady kind of explains a little bit about what I started talking about. It's about the manipulation and how focusing on your tone because they don't like the message. So let's play the video and we'll come right back.
Tone policing. You said it too harsh. You too loud. Why are you saying it like that? It was the delivery. It wasn't what you were saying. It was how you were saying it. Things of that nature. We done with the tone policing. We're done with tone policing because I'm going to let this clip play. It's really, really short. I'm going to let it run twice because it's so short. And I need you to actually listen to what's being said because it's really important. And then we're going to go ahead and cook this whole tone policing thing. So give me 2 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and here we go.
And by the way, they don't care about tone. What they care about is that it's a message they don't want to hear and it's coming from you. And they care about shutting down the conversation, which they're able to do when they get you to focus on the fact that they don't like your tone, which they don't care about. And by the way, they don't care about tone. What they care about is that it's a message they don't want to hear and it's coming from you. And they care about shutting down the conversation, which they're able to do when they get you to focus on the fact that they don't like your tone, which they don't care about. And by the way,
okay, so I wanted to share that with you. Now, what she said was pretty obvious, right? Everybody knows what tone policing is about, okay? Tone policing is definitely about shifting the conversation. It's about shutting the conversation down, okay? And here's how. To make the speaker refocus the uncomfortable conversation to something that they are more comfortable with it, which is arguing. Okay? To shut down an uncomfortable but healthy conversation that actually needs to be had in order to shift the focus away from that and any accountability that it brings, or any healing that it brings, or any light that it sheds, or anything like that, onto a thing that they can do well, which is argue with you. Okay, they want to bring it to an arena that they can handle because they can't handle healing. They can't handle the tough conversation. They can't put their big girl panties on. They can't put, they can't woman up like they tell men to man up. They can't woman up and sit and listen to something that is difficult to hear. Healing is supposed to be this cuddly thing that they can fall into like petals of roses and fluff. And it's not. Healing is some of the hardest work that anybody who has to heal and who has ever actually done that work has ever had to do. It's hard, especially depending on what you're healing from, how far you need to go into yourself in order to actually accomplish it. Okay, very difficult, can take you years to do it. Okay, possibly takes a lot of changes happening inside of you, and those changes that happen inside of you affect what's going on outside of you. Okay, so here's one reason why they use the tone police tactic. Not only to shift the conversation and focus, they actually think that if they say they're offended by what you said, that you got to stop and address them being offended. These hyenas think that if they tell you that how you said something or whatever was offensive to them, that you are now obligated to deal with the offense and assuage them and comfort them in hopes that you forget about that topic altogether and never return to it, or that you soften it so much that they can ignore what you said and it doesn't have any effect. Okay? Here's the thing, though. Nobody got to deal with you being offended. Nobody has to deal with that. There's no law says I have to deal with you being offended. Why? Okay, because here's the thing. The message, especially mine, I can't speak for other people. Other people may actually be trying to offend. I'm not trying to offend. But the truth is offensive to those who don't want to hear it and those who don't want to deal with it. The truth becomes offensive. That's why they were mad at Kevin Samuels. Not they'll say, oh, it was his tone. No, it wasn't. It was the actual words that he was saying that was hitting them in ways that they had never been hit before. And so instead of being able to take the correction, and even though it was tough to hear it, instead of saying, you know what, I can utilize this in order to move forward, in order to improve myself and things of that nature, I'd rather not improve and turn it around and hate this person because this person is offending me. And somehow that's supposed to be the trump card over everything. If I get offended, then the world's supposed to stop. No, the point may not be to offend, but it is also not a deterrent from telling the truth. See, I don't get here on this platform specifically to offend people. I'm not here on this platform specifically to offend every Black woman out there. No. The ones who need to hear the message, hear the message. The ones who are offended by the message are offended by the message. However, being offended or not offended doesn't stop the message, because the message is necessary. The message is needed, okay, to be had. Here's another point about it. We look for ways to stop the healing process. We look for ways. That's one of the most dangerous traits of Black women. And we probably can extrapolate this out to the Black community at large too. But since I'm talking to the women, I'm going to talk to the women. We have a dangerous tendency to put up any roadblock that leads down the path of healing and improving and excellence. And we do that with things like tone police. And we do that with purposely getting caught up in the words used, or the person who's delivering the message, or where the message was delivered, or, you know, we like to look for reasons not to hear it. So even if the tone was quote unquote corrected, let's just say, then it'll be, well, I can't listen to this message because you used the word such and such, and I don't agree with that word such and such. You know, I got a whole thing with that word such and such. So because you use that word, I can now have the liberty to dismiss every single thing that you've ever said, whether I thought that it was helpful or not, because I can now hang my hat on a disagreement, or I can hang my hat now on this one or two things that I don't like about your presentation or about what you're saying or whatever. And then I get to just dismiss everything. And this is not me. Let me make it really clear. I'm not talking about just people, some people's response to me. No. This is ongoing. This is in general. This is anybody.
All right. So, you know, I'm going to just keep going with this for a minute, because I have definitely tangled with people with this mindset who they've been hell bent on getting me to go for whatever they were putting out. And me being as headstrong as I am, no one's going to pull the wool over my eyes. You know, some people, you can make a simple request. Something as simple as, hey, when you leave out of the front door, can you remember to lock the deadbolt? That's it. Something that's simple. Some people will say, okay. And then when they don't do it and you say something to them, it's a problem. Why are you complaining about that? It's not a big deal. It's not the point. The point of it is, it's something that you asked them to do. That's the point. If it's something that's minimal, that's not going to cause any skin to come off of their back, it's not a big deal. But the thing is, a lot of people have a lot of bad habits, a lot of bad ways. And there's people right now who are dealing with difficult individuals like this. And I don't want to be the person who has the knowledge, has the information to help someone and not get it out there. So don't let a person gaslight you, manipulate you, tone police you, because I'm pretty sure no one usually comes out of the gate hot. What I mean by, if someone asks you something or try to get you to do something that's within reason for them or concerning them, and ask you politely and nicely at first, but you continue to ignore them, not acknowledge what they're saying as if it's nothing, and tell them how no one else has ever said anything about this. No one else cared if they drank all of the orange juice and put the container back in the refrigerator. But guess what? You do. Where's the respect for you? If you have a problem with it, they should address it for you, and you shouldn't have to beg them to. Do not let these people control you by doing things that you've expressed to them that you do not like, or not doing something that you prefer. So let's try to stay away from that. So if you know anyone who's dealing with this, or you're personally dealing with it, if you got to seek some outside help, some resources, please do so, people. So as always, I'm glad you took the time to watch my video. I know I got a little long-winded there, but this is one of the things that kind of really gets under my skin, how people try to manipulate people and control them. So as always, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. Hit the like button. Let's get the word out, people. As I always say, happy people do not cause problems. Peace.
If everybody winning, who's losing? I'm trying to make it make sense. It's like it's so confused. I see the pain.